So Chelsea have it all to do. This quarter-final tie won't be won tonight, but it could be lost in terms of if they've got too much to do for next week's return leg at Stamford Bridge.
Yep, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this one, though. Frank Lampard in his press conference yesterday said every year in football brings a new story. What a story it would be if somehow Frank Lampard's Chelsea knocked the holders out Real Madrid. And, we spoke about their side pre-kickoff. They're a strong Chelsea side. They're an experienced Chelsea side. They've got some top players in it, and, things go right on the night, who knows, they can get a result at Stamford Bridge next week. All sorts of possibilities.
Well, the winners of this will certainly be facing Manchester City in the semi-finals after Pep Guardiola's side put in that impressive performance to beat Bayern Munich by 3-0. Real Madrid might well be looking at trying to exact some sort of revenge. But for the time being, it is Chelsea here who, well, it's going to be a real test for them, bearing in mind that they fall without a win in the Premier League, can't score goals of late. But undoubtedly they've got the quality in there, and certainly the way that they've set up with three at the back, and that solid-looking midfield of Kovacic, Fernandes and Kante. They look a real force, or they should be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and they're going to contain, they'll sit deep, and they will counter-attack. What's required from the Chelsea forwards this season is to be really ruthless when they get the opportunities. They'll be choosing their moments, but the name of the game this evening is to stay in the tie, take something back to Stamford Bridge.
We are parallel with the Chelsea support. I think it's 1,800 fans who've made the journey over. They're just away towards our right-hand side. We're high up in the gods as we look down, and we're underway here at the Bernabeu. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also live on BBC Sounds. Real Madrid in all white, playing from left to right as we look, against the Chelsea side in their royal blue shirts and shorts. And straight away Valverde gets an early touch, and Carvajal plays the ball back, and Alaba's in the centre circle. And now Kroos will take over, just dropping in between the two central defenders. This is Rodrigo, who just finds a pocket of space midway through the Chelsea half, as Alaba out towards Modric, who will always remember that delightful ball with the outside of his right boot to pick out Rodrigo when the two sides met last season. Militao is forward, Chelsea already on the back foot. Rodrigo coming in off the right touch line, but he's dispossessed. A combination of Kovacic and Chilwell. Chilwell's forward ball, but there was Kroos just winning the ball back for Real Madrid. It's got to be said, in these opening 60-70 seconds have settled very nicely into the groove.
Yeah, I think we expected that, didn't we? Madrid to really come out of the traps and take the game to Chelsea. It's important that Chelsea, in these early moments, are resilient and hang on in there.
Camavinga forward, high up the pitch, far side the left. Modric, he waits. You've got three waiting in the penalty area. It was just over the head of Rodrigo, as Chelsea get the ball away, and N'Golo Kante now looks to try and release João Felix, and Felix is in here, one-on-one. Felix coming forward into towards the penalty area, gets the shot away and blocked by Courtois. It was Militao who went with him, and Militao did his very best to hold him up, but the former Atletico Madrid striker got a right-footed shot. Courtois down on his knees, turns it behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, he just didn't have the pace, did he, Felix, to get away from Militao. He was through on goal. Chelsea had needed to pick the moments this evening. What a big chance. There's a smart save from Courtois, but big opportunity from Chelsea. But Militao just did enough, put Felix under enough pressure, and Courtois makes an important save.
Corner kick then to Chelsea. Might be able to hear strains of the Chelsea supporters in the background. Corner far side the right, Chilwell to take it over everybody's heads, and then cleared away by Kroos, headed back by Kante. Of course, João Felix won La Liga in 2021 with Atletico Madrid, 6 appearances against Real in his career, yet to score.
It's a chance, though.
That really was a good chance
in
for
the
him.
context of this tyrant, and Liverpool not so long ago coming here and needed an early goal, and Nunez missing an opportunity, Courtois making the save then. But Chelsea, that's been the story of their season, haven't been ruthless enough.
They also failed to win in those 6 games, drawing 3 and losing 3. As Chelsea's run approaching 5 hours of football without a goal. That was an excellent early opportunity that Felix was unable to take. 0-0. Modric gives the ball away to Kante, and Kante coming forward once again. He's got Sterling ahead of him and João Felix. Kante coming forward, strong running. White shirts back aplenty now. Felix though crosses the ball, cleared away by Alaba on that occasion.
I think he took too long, didn't he, Kante? Stole the ball initially, had Sterling to his right-hand side, Felix to his left-hand side, decided to drive himself, and that allowed the Madrid defenders in midfield to get back in their numbers. Chelsea have had a couple of wonderful opportunities. We're only 4 minutes in.
Well, certainly that has got to offer a lot of encouragement for Chelsea, as Fernandes, Kovacic out towards Chilwell on the halfway line. Had he played it earlier, though, then it really would have been very, very interesting from N'Golo Kante, as Enzo Fernandez chips the ball out long towards that far side, beautifully brought down off the chest, and then a cushioned touch of his left boot by Reece James. Enzo Fernandez to Kovacic, forward ball, Sterling able to turn, lays it off to João Felix, looks for the return ball towards Sterling, and that was blocked by the Real Madrid defence. And now Modric, midway through his own half, gets the ball out towards that far side, and it's with Vinicius Junior, who runs into Wesley Fofana, and Wesley Fofana brings him down and gets a yellow card, and that is an early booking for Wesley Fofana.
And that's a stinker, isn't it? About 5 minutes in, Vinicius Junior has that ability, doesn't he? He can drive the outside, come on the inside, goes past Fofana, sticks a right leg out, brings him down. He's put himself under pressure. Reece James up the pitch then, left him isolated.
He wasn't one of the 5 who would miss the return leg at Stamford Bridge next Tuesday. That's Kepa, Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, Reece James and Enzo Fernandez.
His problem is Fofana is going to be isolated again, isn't he, this evening, no doubt at times, against Vinicius Junior.
Benzema, Valverde on the halfway line, coming in off the right touch line, looks for a crossfield pass. Vinicius Junior brings it off the chest on the attack, out towards Reece James, comes in field with the ball towards Modric, turns, Kroos, finds Carvajal. Temporarily they'd just been down to 10 men, and Rodrigo had been off the pitch, I think changing his footwear actually, so he's now back on, and he's got a lot of space on this near side, the right. 6 minutes played, BBC Radio 5 Live, and it's still 0-0. Camavinga touches the ball forward. Vinicius Junior will try and run at James again, shows him on the inside, ball goes astray, picked up by Enzo Fernandez, chips the ball over the top, flag stays down for Raheem Sterling as he runs towards the corner flag on that far side, the right. N'Golo Kante is unmarked behind him. Here he is level with the penalty area, passes the ball to Sterling. Sterling goes to ground under the challenge from Camavinga, and the French referee Francois Letexier now shows a yellow card to the Real Madrid left-back, Camavinga.
1-1 in terms of yellow cards. It's actually been a really bright start from Chelsea. I think Frank Lampard will be delighted. Sterling, so versatile, to play anywhere across the front line, out on that right-hand side. I like this, really direct against Camavinga. Not a natural left-back. Of course, drives past him and is brought down. This is an opportunity.
Of his 45 appearances this season, 10 actually have been at left-back, the French international. But Chelsea awarded this free kick from the French referee, about 6-7 yards up from the byline, right side of the penalty area. Chelsea in their royal blue, playing from right to left. Chilwell, who yesterday, with that new deal, extended his contract by an extra 2 years to 2027, stands over the free kick. There are 6 royal blue shirts to aim for in that penalty area. Real Madrid have everybody back. Chilwell towards the far post, and it curls all the way out past the crossbar. and out for a goal kick that Courtois wants to take quickly but is unable to do so. 0-0, 8 minutes played.
It's a dreadful free kick from Chilwell. Silva had gone forward then, good in the air, isn't he, and the delivery just not there. A waste. As I say, Chelsea, Frank Lampard, sort of change in system from the formation at Wolves. 3 centre-halves, so 2 wing-backs, narrow 3 in midfield, Kovacic, Fernandes and Kante. And Felix and Sterling up top. It's worked well so far.
That's the voice of Chris Sutton with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Chilwell's ball in field is blocked by Valverde, applauded by Carlo Ancelotti in that square-shaped technical area in his suit a long way down below. Enzo Fernandez, who spoke yesterday at the press conference. He was talked about the fact that do Chelsea have the leaders, and he was just basically saying that it's always been his dream to be a leader. I want to be an example, and he thanked Frank Lampard for his kind words. Always looking to try and do his best. Doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. He also did talk about how it's been quite difficult adapting for him and his family after his switch to London. The World Cup winner, who now finds Reece James on that far side, back with Fernandes, Kovacic. He was an unused substitute when Real Madrid won the Champions League in 2017, and then the following year against his former club here, as the ball is stabbed forward by Reece James. N'Golo Kante, far side the right, 10 minutes played. Reece James in field, bypasses Fernandes actually, it's picked up by Kovacic, who now finds the Argentine, scoops the ball long, Sterling rises in the air. The referee has spotted an infringement for a foul there from Sterling, a little push, and that will be a free kick after that shove on Militao to the home side, which he's already taken quickly. 10 minutes in, but I think Frank Lampard will be quite content with the start that his side have made.
I think he'll be disappointed his team don't have the lead after that early Felix chance, but no, I think Chelsea have played with nice balance. Good run from Sterling there on the diagonal where ended up fouling Militao. It's important that Sterling does that. I think we'll see him do that more than Felix, who will like to come to feet on the half turn. He's a bit of a dribbler, but he did have that early chance, didn't he?
Disappointed with the chance that wasn't taken, but content with the overall performance in the opening 10 minutes, would you say?
Absolutely. I think that Chelsea have carried the greater threat. Madrid are one of those teams, they sort of try and play the way into games. They're not an enormous rush all the time to try and wear teams down. The likes of Kroos on the ball now, and Modric.
Carvajal is forward. Out it goes to Rodrigo, just in from the right touchline. Benzema gets the return ball back from Carvajal, hits it first time, 25 yards out. Left-footed, blocked by Thiago Silva. Big return for Chelsea to have his presence back in the side. He's missed the last 7 games due to a knee injury. Carvajal once again passes the ball out wide to the right-hand side to Rodrigo, but they've doubled up on him. Now Valverde, Rodrigo, little interchange between the two. Chilwell close to press and force Real Madrid back. Just had to be clear, didn't know whether it was a contradiction or whether you were still being contrary. That was the reason why I asked you. 12 minutes in, 0-0. Here is Kovacic, tried to chest the ball into the path of Fernandes. They've given the ball away. Benzema into Vinicius Junior, back to Benzema. The angle is tight, and Arrizabalaga makes the save. Down towards his right, it is near post, 0-0.
Yeah, they've got to watch Chelsea, that combination play between Benzema and Vinicius Junior. Last season they were absolutely devastating, weren't they, together? Over 100 goals, I think, in terms of goals and assists between the pair. They're telepathic, aren't they? Little give and go, and it's a save Kepa should make. It is near post. Chelsea need to be watchful of those two.
It was a career best return for Karim Benzema last season. 44 goals in 45 appearances. Scored in every round in the knockout stages, bar the final. N'Golo Kante has made that run forward. Frank Lampard described him last night as a special talent. He's of that midfield three with Kovacic and Enzo Fernandez sitting. He's the one who's breaking forward, isn't he, N'Golo Kante?
Yeah, and he's going to have to play a big role this evening, isn't he?
Ball goes out wide, left-hand side. Vinicius Junior up against Wesley Fofana. He's on a yellow card, stands tall, gets a block in. Behind it goes for a corner kick that Modric is going to take over on that far side to left. Real Madrid all in white, playing from left to right. 13 minutes played, still goalless on BBC Radio 5 Live. Tomorrow night we're live at Old Trafford. John Murray and Peter Schmeichel for the Europa League quarter-final. Build up from 7 o'clock, Manchester United against Sevilla. Modric waits, backed up right against the advertising hoardings on that far side. There are 6 white shirts in the penalty area, and it's headed out by Koulibaly, 6 yards out in front of his own goal. Carvajal does a little step over, waits, controls the ball, sends in the cross, claimed by Kepa. And it was a good commanding take, all in green away towards our right-hand side. And now it's an overarm throw out towards Chilwell down below. Incidentally, this weekend the World Snooker Championship gets underway. Of course, at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, as the ball over the top was looking to João Felix and through towards Courtois. And the draw for the first round is live on 5 Live Breakfast in the morning with Rick Edwards and Ellie Oldroyd. They'll be picking out the balls. They're joined by the former world champion Sean Murphy. So that's on 5 Live Breakfast in the morning from 6 till 9. Quarter of an hour play. This is 5 Live Sport. We're live in Madrid. Real Madrid 0, Chelsea 0.
Rick Edwards is doing the draw, is he?
All I can say is that I hope he picks out the balls quicker than he did with that daft game that he was playing at the World Cup. Here is Benzema. Benzema.
The bauble challenge you're talking about.
That was it, yeah, couldn't think what it was. Benzema. Rodrigo chips the ball in towards the penalty area. At times he really did dawdle doing the bauble challenge.
Yeah, I mean there was an element, wasn't there, of corruption. I think
there was more than an element. But it'll be all above board for that draw tomorrow morning.
Well, we hope so.
Well, quarter of an hour play. James inside to Enzo Fernandez. Modric puts him under pressure. Back to his goalkeeper. Chips it out to this near side. Chilwell looking for Kovacic. Real Madrid are just putting a bit of a squeeze there on Chelsea and they win the ball. Cross now to Valverde. Running into a central area. Midway through the Chelsea half. Oh, Benzema just tried to pass the ball into the path of Vinicius Junior, but Chelsea's defence held firm. Wesley Fofana, though, has only partially cleared the ball away. Back with Vinicius Junior. Wesley Fofana with a challenge. Vinicius Junior goes to ground. No penalty, says the French referee. That could have been double jeopardy in terms of, bearing in mind he's on a yellow card.
I thought he made a meal of that. My initial reaction. Into ground and rolled around. He's up on his feet now, Vinicius Junior. I thought it was a good challenge.
Tomasz Kwiatkowski is the Polish referee who's on VAR duties. Play continues, 0-0, 16 minutes in. Carvajal, every outfield player is in the Chelsea half. We are right at the halfway line. Camavinga's forward ball, headed away by Thiago Silva, picked up by Valverde, who shoots, rising drive, right-footed, 25 yards out, off target, goal kick, still goalless.
Yeah, Valverde is the legs in that midfield three, with Modric and Kroos as a support. Touch from Fernandez, and Valverde, 19-20 yards out, slices his shot wildly wide. Chelsea have just been a little bit careless last couple of minutes. Just seeing that Fofana challenge on Vinicius Junior. Vinicius Junior trying to con the ref into giving a penalty there. It's a good challenge from Fofana. Just one for the simulation game, Ian.
He's better than that, to coin a phrase.
He's better than that.
17 minutes in, still goalless here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Valverde running back into his own half. That was a loose ball. Certainly Alaba had to be a little bit sharp to pass it to Militao in the presence of Raheem Sterling. Out towards that far side, the left. Vinicius running forward now in towards the penalty area, towards the byline, but again well marshalled by Wesley Fofana. Matched him stride for stride and got a block in, took a lot of the pace off the ball as it came in and picked up by Kepa.
Yeah, he did very, very well, but what was important there that Reece James, who was pressing higher up the pitch, but Kante got back alongside, doubled up, and they took care of Vinicius Junior well there.
First time that N'Golo Kante has featured in the Champions League this season. Of course, he'd been out for so long, 7 months out with that hamstring injury that required surgery. He's been eased back in. A couple of appearances of late. Came off the bench against Aston Villa. 70-minute run out against Liverpool. Rested against Wolves at the weekend in that defeat at Molineux. As Carvajal just tries to whip up the crowd in that corner of the Bernabeu down below. 18 minutes played. Chilwell to take the throw.
Well, Kante, 2 years ago, man of the match in both legs against Real Madrid. He'll have to have a big night this evening for Chelsea to get away with something in the Bernabeu.
They're facing each other, these two sides, in the knockout stages for a third consecutive season. The previous two, the victors have gone on to become Champions League winners. Manchester City on last night's form might have something to say about that. 19 minutes play. Carvajal, little ball inside, Valverde, out it goes to the right-hand side. Rodrigo's cross is blocked by the back of Koulibaly, out for a throw that they take very, very quickly. Carvajal then goes back. This is Militao, just over the halfway line. Alaba, who picked up that hamstring injury himself against Liverpool and has only recently returned to the Real Madrid side. Kroos now has it midway through the Chelsea half. Camavinga is high and forward on that far side, the left. French international playing as a left-back, passes the ball back to Alaba, controls it, he goes square, played long and forward by Militao. Koulibaly read it, came out of defence, brought it down off his chest, and Chilwell will win a throw for Chelsea on this near side, and we're approaching 20 minutes played, and it is still 0-0.
Those three centre-halves, Fofana, Silva and Koulibaly, have been really strong in this opening 20-odd minutes. He's defended very, very well. Take your eye off Benzema though, you're in big bother. His movement is fantastic, just watching him. He doesn't have that real pace where he'll move in behind. Picks up those spaces in between the Chelsea midfield and back line. Gets on the half turn. He's looking for Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo to make those runs.
5 hours and 4 minutes since Chelsea last scored. That was Kai Havertz against Everton. Of course, they had an excellent opportunity. They had potentially almost two inside 4 minutes here. The early one to Felix, he was unable to take. Courtois with a save. Arrizabalaga, though, has only really been tested once so far. He's been protected very well by this Chelsea team so far.
You would have saved that.
Not necessarily say I'd have been as sprightly moving to the right as...
No, I was being sarcastic.
As Arrizabalaga would have been. Here is Valverde. It's not like you. Carvajal chips the ball forward, and Benzema on the follow-up scores for Chelsea. The ball floated forward by Carvajal. Arrizabalaga made the initial save from Vinicius Junior, but he only palmed the ball into the path of Benzema, who's at it again, scoring against Chelsea, and Real Madrid lead by a 0-0.
Just praising the three Chelsea centre-halves for their display in the first 20 minutes. There's brilliant movement from Vinicius Junior. The ball's popped into a central area to Carvajal, and the ball's floated into Vinicius Junior, who just gets on the inside of Fofana and gets a left boot to the ball. Kepa makes a really good save, actually, to his left-hand side. But guess who's there? Just right place, right time, anticipating Kepa to palm the ball out where he does do. Benzema, he's made a career out of that. And once again, Karim the Dream is a thorn in Chelsea's side. One of the easiest finishes of his career, but it's all about that anticipation of where the ball is going to bounce.
His 349th goal for Real Madrid. And in many ways, you know, Vinicius Junior, it was just an outstretched left boot, wasn't it, that guided the ball towards the goal. And as you say, Kepa made the save, but Benzema on the follow-up. As now Kante coming forward, Reece James right-hand side with a cross. Sterling is in there. What a save that was from Courtois. Oh my word, a reflex save, sharp as you like, towards his left-hand side. That was point blank. Brilliant save by Courtois to keep out Sterling. And Chelsea were almost level within a matter of minutes.
What a response from Chelsea. As Kante just popped out to the right-hand side, Reece James. Sterling gets across his man Militao. I don't know whether Sterling gets a touch. He should have got the touch, or whether Militao does. But Courtois, so agile, down to his left-hand side.
In comes the corner, headed out by Benzema. Not only did he dive away to his left, he was also diving a little bit backwards as well behind himself.
It's an incredible save, it is. Let's have a look. It is off Militao's backside. Sterling should actually get the first contact. There's a big chance for Sterling. He misses it. It was a good run. But what instinct from Courtois for such a big man. So agile, low down to his left-hand side, but how many times have we seen him do that over the years? What a goalkeeper, what a save that is.
He's 6'6", the former Chelsea keeper, 154 appearances at Stamford Bridge in his 7 years, 2 Premier League titles, an FA Cup and a League Cup. After he was signed for £9 million, it was a rather messy exit from Stamford Bridge. There was certainly nothing messy about that, though. That was absolutely superb bit of goalkeeping from Courtois. As Chelsea now have a free kick, which is about 6 yards in from the right touch line. Midway through the Real Madrid half, trailing by a goal to nil. It's taken short by James to Kante. Kante's right-footed ball into the penalty area, headed on by Enzo Fernandez. Comes out towards Thiago Silva, who gives away a free kick with a late challenge on Toni Kroos, and that will be a free kick to Real Madrid. 25 minutes played. Real Madrid lead Chelsea by a goal to nil, and they've maintained their sequence of scoring in each of now their last 31 home knockout ties in the Champions League, which stretches back since they were beaten by Barcelona 12 years ago at the semi-final stage. As Modric gives the ball away to Sterling midway through the Real Madrid half. Sterling to Enzo Fernandez. He was being pulled back there by Camavinga. No, says the French referee. And Camavinga now finds Vinicius Junior coming in off that left touchline. This looks worrying for Chelsea. Vinicius Junior, the angle is tight, chips the ball towards the penalty area. And then Thiago Silva, falling backwards into the back of the net, just manages to get something on it to take it away from danger.
What a player he is, Vinicius Junior. Just faces Fofana up on that left-hand side, doesn't he? And Reece James is steaming back to try and help out Fofana. Vinicius Junior opens his body up like he's going to try and bend the ball into the far corner, drags it past Fofana, and then lifts the ball over Kepa. Silva there with a big left boot and clears the ball from the middle of his goal, a yard out. Gets it away, scrambles it away, but what a danger Vinicius Junior's been in this opening 25-26 minutes.
Well, Real Madrid lead by a goal to nil. Here is Reece James in a central area, loses the ball. Vinicius Junior to Benzema, drifting out towards that left-hand side. James falls to the floor as Benzema plays it back to Camavinga. The applause in the background is for the appreciation for the work for the goal scorer, Karim Benzema. 14 seasons, and now this is his 638th appearance, and he's just gone and scored his goal 349. 23 honours, 5 Champions Leagues and 4 titles. What a player he has been, and you consider that he was overshadowed for so long by Cristiano Ronaldo. Modric wins the ball back for Real Madrid in the midfield. Vinicius Junior to Benzema, who wasn't expecting that. It was a little flat-footed, it runs through the keeper.
Well, you don't see that very often, do you? Benzema and Vinicius Junior not on the same wavelength. Benzema had just drifted offside as he was coming back. Vinicius Junior played the ball, but they are such a danger.
N'Golo Kante runs forward, far side to left. He's closed down by Camavinga. The ball balloons up into the air. It's brought under control by Fernandez midway through the Real Madrid half. Kovacic now to Koulibaly. Koulibaly steps forward. It opens up for Koulibaly. He tried to slip it into the path of Raheem Sterling. I think it might have been Militao who just got a foot in there to divert the ball away from the England international. It was an encouraging run for Koulibaly. Thought at one stage he might have even had a dig at goal.
Absolutely stepped in past Toni Kroos, 25 yards out, tried to feed the pass, but shooting opportunity declined.
Enzo Fernandez. Turn by João Felix was a good one. Edge of the D, gets the shot away, blocked, rebounds along the ground to Modric, flicks it forward. Dropping deep is Benzema, now looking to Carvajal. Chilwell running back did well. Chilwell takes it away off the toes of Carvajal. Game's starting to become a little bit more open.
Yeah, it is. Do you know what? Chelsea have had their opportunities, haven't they? In this opening 28 minutes. That's the difference. Real Madrid have taken theirs. Chelsea have missed theirs.
Enzo Fernandez finds Sterling. Sterling on a little run. Ran into a cul-de-sac there, surrounded by the white shirts of Real Madrid. Modric dispossessed, but falls to Valverde, who runs back towards his penalty area. Now finds Toni Kroos. Camavinga midway through the Real Madrid half. Forward ball. Benzema gives it him back, and then it's out towards Vinicius Junior, tracked and marked very tightly by Wesley Fofana on that far side. Real Madrid are being patient. They lead still by 1-0 as we have 16 minutes to go to half-time here on 5 Live Sport.
Most of the play, Ian, has gone down that Real Madrid left-hand side, the Chelsea right-hand side.
Pop forward to Valverde, waits for it to settle, plays it out towards Rodrigo, helped out by Valverde, skips away from Koulibaly, right corner of the area. Valverde sends over the cross, goes away from the penalty area. Camavinga inside to Modric, back to Benzema outside the penalty area, infield now with Rodrigo. Now the ball is floated over. Koulibaly is the one who heads it away in that central area of the penalty box for Chelsea. Downward header then by Kovacic to Enzo Fernandez. Hooked further clear by Kante. Up towards Raheem Sterling, but Real Madrid are on top and they win the ball back. Camavinga then gives it away. Kante to Sterling. Sterling runs away from a couple of challenges. The only out ball was Kante ahead of him. The midfield dynamo. Always a bundle of energy. But Camavinga was back in his left back role to win the ball for the home side. 15 minutes to go to the break. Half an hour played, 1-0 to Real Madrid. Valverde now over the halfway line. Vinicius Junior going ahead of him. Instead he sends a diagonal ball towards Benzema, brings it under control, right corner of the area. He waits, Chilwell is back in front of him. Benzema then gives it away. He was looking for the run of Vinicius Junior, but they win the ball back. That intensity in the midfield from Toni Kroos. Chelsea coming under pressure here from the European champions.
He's got to hold the ball in better. Felix, I know, is difficult, but ball coming straight back for Chelsea. They just can't get out of their half.
Camavinga, Modric forward of the centre circle. Militao, short forward ball. Valverde, he gives it away, but then gets it back from a hurried clearance from Fernandez. Stroked forward by Modric, chipped forward by Camavinga, looking for the run of Benzema. Diving forward all in green was Kepa, the Chelsea keeper. 31 minutes played. Still no scoreline in the other quarter-final in San Siro. AC Milan against Napoli. Likely to be an all-Italian semi-final after Inter's win last night against Benfica by 2-0. Whether it would be an all-English semi-final is debatable at the moment. After Manchester City's 3-0 victory at home to Bayern, Chelsea here are trailing by 1-0. Camavinga, he gets the ball back from Vinicius Junior. Modric, always looking to dictate. Wonderful player that he has been and still is, Luka Modric. Far side, Vinicius Junior the left, back to the Croatian international. Chelsea have every blue shirt back behind the ball. Kroos once again dropping in between the two central defenders. Rodrigo's gone into a central area. The width is provided by this man Carvajal, who actually passed the ball through the legs of Koulibaly, looking for the run of Rodrigo, but Kepa was quickly off his goal line to make that ball as he smothers it sliding along the ground.
Good understanding there, Kepa and Silva letting the ball run across his body. Was under pressure, but Chelsea just need to make a few passes now, try and get a foothold back in this game.
James forward right hand side, infield to Enzo Fernandez. He goes square as Chelsea drift to this near side the left for Kovacic. Ball then out in the air by Fernandez, off the chest of Reece James, the right wing back, far side. Wesley Fofana behind him. Here is Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea, though, are going back. Thiago Silva now inside his own half, right of the centre circle. Koulibaly left of the centre circle, forward ball to Raheem Sterling. João Felix is the most advanced forward player for Chelsea, as they do what Chris Sutton was just saying, keeping the ball, passing it back and across. Now they come forward, far side. Wesley Fofana, no foul again, says Monsieur Le Texier, the French referee, as Valverde, strong run, left-hand side, back-heeled the ball, looking to try and release Vinicius Junior, but that was stopped by Reece James. Kante, Reece James forward, back towards Kante once again, short of the halfway line. Trying to find a way through this Chelsea side. As Enzo Fernandez, midway through the Chelsea half, looks up and looks for the width, but that was easily read by Carvajal with the interception, and he's continued his run. But Rodrigo links up instead with Benzema, back towards Benzema, in towards Rodrigo, who gets the shot away, right-footed, right side of the 6-yard box. Kepa made the save, and it won't go out of play for a corner kick. It'll be kept in play by Chilwell. Nice little interchange once again from the Real Madrid team.
Yeah, but really careless, a cross-field ball from Enzo Fernandez. Give and go, Rodrigo and Benzema. The angle against Rodrigo went for power against Kepa. He got down as a save he should make, but an important save nonetheless. But Chelsea just getting careless now.
Here is Modric at a walking pace. Now all of a sudden there's that little burst, that little acceleration from the long-haired playmaker Luka Modric, as Carvajal and Rodrigo exchange a couple of passes. Militao at the back to Alaba, left of the centre circle. 10 minutes to go to half-time on BBC Radio 5 Live in the BBC Sounds app. It's Real Madrid who lead Chelsea by a 1-0. As Modric, Kovacic went to ground too easily. Modric away from his fellow countryman. Benzema runs into the wall, that is Koulibaly. But his clearance goes away from Chilwell, and it's picked back up by Real Madrid. And Carvajal inside, Rodrigo looking to turn. Valverde, he goes to Camavinga. Camavinga goes square. Rodrigo looking to turn, gets the return ball back. No, he doesn't. Interception from Enzo Fernandez was an important one, who touches the ball towards Raheem Sterling, but they swarm around them in the midfield, and the intensity of Real Madrid makes sure that they win the ball back. And now all of a sudden Vinicius Junior pops up on the right-hand side, right corner of the area, back towards Benzema, gets the shot away low, right-footed. Kepa makes the save. 1-0 Real Madrid.
It's a poor effort for a player of Benzema's standard, 22 yards out. Takes a really good first touch, which allows him to move on to the ball, ever with Kepa's near post. Just shoots straight at him, no real power in the shot, but Real Madrid having a good period of the game now, really controlling the game, and Chelsea struggle to get out. Frank Lampard big on self-belief, talking about Chelsea needing that self-belief. Haven't shown it in recent times, but that's a good ball from Fernandez.
He's picked out Reece James away on the right-hand side, and James cuts inside and then goes on the outside of Camavinga, and he enters the penalty area, and the cross is saved in his 6-yard area.
But look at the two forwards, Felix and Sterling, on their heels. One of them has to make a run across the near post.
Now Real Madrid with Vinicius Junior, skips on the inside of Koulibaly. The ball then back forward, Rodrigo with a cutback on this occasion. And it runs behind for a corner kick. No, in fact, the flag's up on this near side. It'll be a Chelsea free kick. They look a threat every time, don't they? When it's either Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, or Benzema, the way that they interchange.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right, Rodrigo coming in off that right-hand side into a central area, and especially when the game opens up. Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior, such great dribblers. Benzema, the brains, the link man, the finisher.
The whistles in the background is because Arrizabalaga is taking his time with the free kick for Chelsea, which eventually he takes now. Right-footed, long, and Camavinga just swivels and turns and heads the ball back to Courtois. Chelsea have had a couple of opportunities in the very early stages. João Felix was saved when one-on-one by Courtois, and then after a cross from the right-hand side, The last touch came off Militao, but Courtois with an outstanding save just minutes after Chelsea had fallen behind to keep Real Madrid's lead intact. As Chelsea high up the pitch, sliding challenge by Koulibaly on Rodrigo. Out it goes for a Real Madrid throw. 7 minutes to go to half-time. Making their presence felt, high up in the gods, away towards our right are the travelling support. They arrived yesterday, they're being greeted by 26 degrees and sunshine as the cross comes in from the left. Been a little bit cooler, a little bit fresher in Madrid this afternoon, and certainly ahead of kick-off there was a short, sharp shower. It'll have made the pitch a little bit greasy as Wesley Fofana, under pressure from Vinicius Junior, is forced to concede the corner kick, and Vinicius Junior whips up the crowd as Real Madrid get a corner far side the left. 1-0 they lead.
Just really careless play. The ball to Fofana wasn't good, and then he dallied, ends up putting the ball behind his own goal for a corner to Madrid.
Corner is taken short, left-hand side. Vinicius Junior tries to run down the byline, and it's cleared away by Fernandez, and it goes out for a Real Madrid throw, which he's already taken. Kroos to Modric, level the penalty area on the left-hand side. His cross, little flick header. Benzema was almost pouncing for a second time. It was Alaba who'd made the run forward, but keeper Arrizabalaga made the save. There's been a goal in San Siro. Mas Farouki.
It's for AC Milan against the run of play. Benacer's shot from 8 yards out, deflecting in off the keeper. The Serie A leaders have dominated, but they are behind. AC Milan 1, Napoli 0.
So Benacer, who once had that spell with Arsenal, giving them the lead there. Of course, they met at the start of the month, and real surprise with AC Milan beating Napoli, Serie A leaders, by 4-0. But they'd certainly want, you would think, some sort of lead to take to Naples for next week's return next Tuesday. Chelsea are looking for an equaliser here, but the move breaks down, and it's Kroos to Militao, edge of his own penalty area. We have 5 minutes to go to half-time here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Rodrigo, back heel by Benzema, was nice, and Rodrigo out towards Vinicius Junior, and once again coming in off that left touchline. Chelsea backpedaling, the cross though in front of the face of goal. Benzema, no chance of getting a hold of that as it goes out for a goal kick, but you were purring.
He's just so clean, Benzema, with his hold-up play, his link-up play. Clever little back heel there to Rodrigo. 1-2, and then they're out, then they're away. It's not just his goals, is it? What an all-round first half he has had, Karim Benzema.
Well, twice they took the lead here at the weekend, but lost to Villarreal by 3-2. Kante charging forward, but inexplicably has run the ball over the touchline as it was going away from him and out for a Real Madrid throw, which is a shame.
You know what, they started the half with real belief. I think Chelsea carried a threat. The longer the half has gone on, that threat has faded, hasn't it? Build-up play has been a little bit too slow, and that allows Madrid to get bodies back behind the ball, and Chelsea, when that happens, do not look like cutting through them. Dangerous early on in the half and countering.
Do you think that's just confidence?
I think so. I really do think so. And Madrid score with virtually their first opportunity. They had the earlier chance which Kepa saved at his near post, but it wasn't a great chance.
Benzema, foul on Thiago Silva. Free kick to Chelsea deep inside their own half.
It was a foul. Two of the ageing players, some great players coming together there. Frank Lampard will say after the game, had we taken that chance, Felix taken that chance in the first couple of moments, moment in the game, but that's been the story of Chelsea this season, hasn't it?
Once again, Arrizabalaga is infuriating the Real Madrid supporters, taking his time with this free kick outside of his own penalty area. Chelsea still trailing by a goal to nil. Right-footed kick downfield, long. Militao climbs and challenged to head the ball away. That goes to Reece James. Faintest of touch off his chest. Fernandes back to James, who passes the ball in the centre circle out wide right to Wesley Fofana. And then James infield. Kovacic picks up this ball now to Koulibaly. Kovacic goes square. Enzo Fernandez looks to turn. Real Madrid have every player back inside their own half. Chelsea, though, not really going anywhere at this stage. They're right of the centre circle. Wesley Fofana edging his way ever so surely forward, and then he has to turn, and then he turns and gives the ball away to Valverde. And Vinicius Junior is going on his outside. Valverde running to the edge of the area. Valverde shoots, and Kepa makes the save, diving forward in his 6-yard area. Sloppy by Chelsea.
Well, sloppy by Fofana, and I tell you what, Ian is really lucky because he tries to tackle Valverde after making the initial mistake. Had he brought him down, it would have been a second yellow. He would have been off, but Valverde ends up driving to the edge of the box and doesn't get a good shot off with his right foot. Comfortable save, but careless Chelsea.
This is Chilwell. Opened up for him here with a diagonal run. He's right to the centre circle now. Leaves it for Reece James. Kovacic now comes forward. Kovacic 25 yards from goal to Raheem Sterling. The return ball, and then try and win it back to Chelsea on the edge of the area, but they've lost it. And it'll be brought out of defence by Rodrigo. Raheem Sterling, though, attracts him. And the referee doesn't give a free kick, says play on. Carlo Ancelotti waves his arms in frustration. As Kovacic now waits. Reece James in a lot of space out wide right, but at the minute Enzo Fernandez, now he picks him out. Pinpoint pass to the feet of Reece James, lays it off. João Felix back then with Reece James, right hand side, level the area. We're about to find out how much stoppage time we've got. Chelsea trail by a goal to nil. Can they equalise here on the stroke of half time?
They don't have that physical presence though, do they?
And in fact, there is no added on time, and the French referee has blown his half-time whistle, and Chelsea are behind. They've had a couple of openings, but it's Real Madrid who lead by a goal to nil, and Benzema the goal scorer. A tap-in after 21 minutes, half-time in the Bernabeu. Real Madrid 1, Chelsea 0. Mark.
Ian, thank you. It's not disastrous, is it, Chris?
No, it certainly isn't. I think the longer the half went on, Madrid, became pretty dominant. But there's no doubt, the story of Chelsea season once again rearing his head this evening. Felix goes through early on. He doesn't have that pace, and you can say, well, Militao got back well, but that's a big chance. At this level, didn't take it, and then they had the Sterling opportunity. Well, I said the Sterling opportunity where he gets across Militao, the good cross from James, it comes off Militao. Courtois makes a wonderful save, and Madrid with their first effort. Vinicius Junior gets a decent left foot onto the ball. Kepa makes the save, and guess who's there? Just great instinct, Benzema. And then Chelsea have hung on in there the longer the first half has gone, but Madrid have really been the team in the ascendancy, and Chelsea, look, the longer the half's gone, in my opinion, Chelsea, the belief has drained out of them as an attacking force, and be interesting to see the half-time team talking whether Frank tweaks anything, but they've certainly faded as this half has gone on. But there's only 1-0.
That is the difference, though, isn't it? You sense that if a Chelsea player had managed to get his foot on the ball as Vinicius Junior did in the build-up to the Benzema goal, that there wouldn't have been a Chelsea player in the Benzema role to tap that in. That is the story of their season.
Yep, and there's been a lot of talk about Chelsea lacking a centre forward. You can't argue with that. Benzema is, he's a Ballon d'Or winner. He's a top player, great instinct. As soon as Vinicius Junior makes that movement, it's amazing how many goals he scores, Benzema, from just anticipating where the ball is going to drop, and Kepa makes the save, and he's in there, easy finish. But he's been wonderful this evening, hasn't he? The way he links up that partnership with Vinicius Junior. He's such a clever player. The first 3 yards are in his head. Doesn't have that pace anymore, but. It's an interesting one from Chelsea's point of view, because Frank will, he'll want his Chelsea team to score a goal, but I think the longer the half has gone on, Madrid have worn them down. Chelsea have hung on in there, but they haven't been able to get out as easy as they did early on in the game.
The other disappointment for Chelsea, and Mario Melchior, the former Chelsea defender, joins us as well. The disappointment for the goal they conceded was actually, by the time the ball was in the back of the net, you could have thrown a blanket over the 3 Chelsea centre halves, Mario.
Yeah, no, definitely, because if you look at the way they scored, we already talked about it as well. Remember we mentioning Koulibaly and Fofana changing because we thought Fofana would be able to keep up. You understand? Not keep up with Vinicius, but get closer to him. But they chipped the ball over the back line. You see, Fofana anticipated too late, and then he passed the ball. Benzema comes in. We always know Benzema is going to be around any goal anyway. But the thing is, what Chelsea really, the key thing, we knew that before the game. We highlighted Vinicius. He is clearly that danger man. And if you look at Ancelotti, the way he set up his team, away from Vinicius being so talented, every danger from Real Madrid is coming from that side. Every time they have the ball, they look for him, and he will open things up. So what you have now, it's either James has to be closer to Koulibaly, because every time they stretch, it becomes a one-on-one. I mean, not Koulibaly, Fofana, I'm saying. And you don't want that. You don't want to have the one-on-one with a player like him. It doesn't matter. Even I played in that position. It's so difficult to stop him because he's so direct. And look at him. The first couple of minutes, it was I think the second minute or whatever it was, he asked for a yellow card because that's one side I don't like about him. But he asked for the yellow card. Fofana gets the yellow card. Now, as a defender, you got to think about not touching any player anymore because you're close to a red one. So now he's got him in his pocket because now he knows, okay, I can now really go at him. And I think that's the key thing what Chelsea has to really focus on to fix.
Do you put... And the ridiculous thing about this question, Mario, is that I think Graham Potter's final game in charge, he had Reece James as the right of a 3 at the back. He was sort of the right centre half. Would you drop Reece James into a back 3 to just deal solely with Vinicius?
Look, I would not do that because Reece has a lot going forward, and I think if we see how Reece normally developed himself as a player, I think he has a lot going forward, and defensively he has that pace, strength, and as a young boy, I think he really. So I think he just needs to play closer to Fofana. I think they both need to talk to each other, and I think James needs to say to him, okay, you know what? I'm going to have your back, and Fofana needs to also take the responsibility and saying it to him, like either go right, go left. So he starts blocking off the line that the ball cannot get to Vinicius, that it's always open. Because sometimes as a defender, when as a player stands in front of you, you don't always have to have him right helping you out. But the only help out he could do, 1 step to the right, 2 steps to the left. I know it's difficult to talk because there's a lot of noise, but it just has to be a really cement understanding is how can we close this guy down, because clearly we can see he is the danger man. And one thing you also have, Rodrigo, what you had, he sliced right through the middle. That should not happen because you have Fernandes there, Kante and Kovacic. They should always be aware that nobody can get through our middle. And in one moment I saw Rodrigo, because that's why he's playing, because of his intelligent brain, he dribbled right through them. No, that should not happen, because any of them either foul him or don't allow him to get through the middle.
Thank you very much, Mario. Thank you, Chris, as well. There is one game in the National League this evening, which is big at both bottom and playoff places, really. But Gateshead are 3-1 up at Eastleigh. It means they're on course to win 6 on the trot, are Gateshead. And it would give Bromley the chance to go above Eastleigh in the playoff positions. Bromley do have a game in hand on Eastleigh. Other game in the Champions League this evening, an all-Italian affair, Milan against Napoli. Maz Faruqi.
Milan 1, Napoli 0 at half-time. Napoli with the majority of the chances and starting the game with real confidence, as you'd expect from the runaway Serie A leaders, forcing a block on the goal line in the opening seconds. Good chances as well for Di Lorenzo from a corner, and a strike from distance from Zielinski, which had to be tipped over the crossbar. But Milan always looking dangerous on the counter, and just before half-time they were ahead. Ismail Benacer with the strike 8 yards out from the left. His shot did take a deflection off the keeper to sneak inside the post, but it was hit with real power, and a Simon Kjær header in stoppage time for Milan as well, bouncing off the crossbar. And just as they did in their shot win 10 days ago in Serie A, Milan are beating the Italian league leaders Napoli, this time in Europe, leading 1-0 at half-time.
Thank you very much, Matt. Second half from Real Madrid on the way. Real Madrid lead Chelsea by a 1-0, just coming up to 5-9. Here's Joe Critcher.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
President Biden is urging the political parties in Northern Ireland to return to power sharing. He's been visiting there to mark 25 years since the signing of the Good Friday Agreement and has just arrived in the Republic of Ireland. Rishi Sunak says he's keen to find accommodation with junior doctors as the second day of strike action has hit the NHS in England. They're demanding a 35% pay rise after 15 years of below inflation increases. An unprecedented study by a group of UK scientists of how cancers grow has concluded a universal cure is unlikely anytime soon. Researchers for the TracerX study say it showed the almost infinite ability of tumours to evolve and survive. Tesco has cut the price of its milk for the first time since May 2020, down from £1.65 for 4 pints to £1.55. The supermarket says it's passing on a drop in buying costs to customers. And Buckingham Palace has announced Prince Harry will be coming alone to the King's coronation on May the 6th. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, will stay in the US with their children.
Break into a world of true crime on BBC Sounds with Lucy Worsley's Lady Killers.
This is the story of how an ordinary woman who witnessed the killing of her husband found herself on trial for his murder.
And the Lazarus Heist.
Soon, millions of dollars worth of banknotes are spilling out of cash points around the world.
True crime podcasts. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live, your football station.
The UEFA Champions League.
With Mark Chapman.
The second round of fixtures in the County Championship gets underway tomorrow. Surrey Hampshire is the feature match on Sports Extra from 5 to 11, and every ball of every match is live on the BBC Sport website and app this season. Now, the former South Africa women's captain, Dani van Niekerk, says she thinks the reason she was prevented from leading her side at her home World Cup was personal. Cricket South Africa stripped her of the captaincy on the eve of the tournament on fitness grounds, and she's been speaking on the No Balls podcast.
The last couple of months have been incredibly tough for you. You didn't get selected for the World Cup due to not doing your 2K fast enough, if we're going to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
When CA told you that you weren't going to play in that World Cup, how did that sit with you and how did that make you feel?
I've never been an advocate of saying that you shouldn't be fit to play for your country, because that's certainly I never said. Hence, I never fought with anyone leading up to anything. But I also thoroughly believe that we're not in the Olympics at the moment. We need to win games of cricket, and I believed in myself as a cricketer, as a tactician, as a captain. Yeah, I just felt like that also should carry some sort of weight. It does not mean that I should not, but it's not that I came to a fitness test where I weighed more. My skin fault was higher, my running was worse. It was actually better. Everything was better. So I did not sit on my arse and do nothing, if that makes any sense.
When it all came out, me and Al obviously did the podcast that you listened to, and we spoke about how it's a really difficult balance at the moment because women's cricket has shifted in its professionalism so quickly that you almost have to allow time for the players to catch up with that as well. You can't tell someone that they have to be fit in 2 weeks' time.
I've never been the fastest runner. I've never been the fittest cricketer for South Africa. That's never been me. And it's not being arrogant about it. It's just literally me. I hated running my whole life. I don't like running. I will do it, but I've never let my team down when it comes to winning a game for my country. I've never let my team down when it comes to fitness, in the sense of my fitness was the reason why I couldn't take a game through. I've won games off the back of my bat many years. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, without being the fittest. Because I knew I loved playing my country and I loved winning games for my country. And that got me, that pride and that love that I had to win games for my country. Yeah, you forget about being tired. You forget about being not the epitome of fitness, because apparently like we have to look a certain way to be an athlete. But like, Nah, I gave everything, and I will say that with pride, and that's what I said, and I've said it before. When I sat in the meeting, they told me, Danae, you are not picked for the World Cup. I said, I'm heartbroken, but I pack my bags with pride. Those were my words.
That is Dani van Niekerk on the No Balls podcast, which you can get on the TMS stream on BBC Sounds. Let's go back to Ian Dennis and Chris Sutton, who are in the Bernabeu, where Chelsea trail by 1-0 at the break. What would you change for Chelsea, Chris? We were talking to Mario about whether you might switch Reece James into a back three just to try and deal with Vinicius.
I think it's an interesting one, and because Fofana is on a yellow card as well. I mean, he had that moment where he gave the ball away carelessly, and Valverde got the other side of him, and he lunged, didn't bring. Well, Valverde stayed on his feet and ended up getting a shot off. Had he brought him down there, he would have most certainly been off. So just wonder whether Frank is thinking about that. What I would change though, I'd bring Mudryk on. And because Mudryk is super quick. Listen, he hasn't had the greatest start at Chelsea, but Chelsea, they've been pushed back the longer the first half has gone on. They're defending deep, and they need that out ball. And Sterling has faded a little bit. Felix likes to come towards the ball all the time, and they need that out ball. And I think, you know, Mudryk can carry that threat and maybe frighten the Madrid back line a little bit.
So what, you use him in the Sterling role as kind of a partner for Felix, would you? Not having him as a wide man.
I think, well, just the way that Frank has set up, I don't think I'd be surprised, if Frank changes the formation. I think the Fofana thing is, the booking is the one thing that Frank, really has to think about. But if he trusts him that he isn't going to get booked again, I think he'll keep it the same. But Chelsea need to be braver going forward. I think in the last half of the first half they've really faded, and they needed that sort of out ball, which they didn't have. And you can argue they weren't brave enough on the ball, but Madrid really pressed them. They picked the moments, and they really were dominant at the end of that first half. Chelsea need to get up the pitch and carry a threat, and I think they'll have that if they get Mudryk on.
Okay, we'll have more thoughts at full time. The other quarter-final first leg is going the way of AC Milan at the moment. They lead Napoli by 1-0. They're about to get underway in the second half there, and the teams are on the way back onto the pitch in the Spanish capital. Here's Ian.
Thanks, Mark. Looking down at the moment, doesn't look like Chelsea are going to make a change. We've only got 10 players out there at this stage. No, there's going to be no changes, so I can tell you the Chelsea side that will start the second half. Kepa in goal, back three of Koulibaly, Thiago Silva and Wesley Fofana. Wesley Fofana booked in that first half. Reece James and Ben Chilwell, the wing backs. Enzo Fernandez and N'Golo Kante, Mateo Kovacic in the centre of midfield, with Raheem Sterling and João Felix up front. Real Madrid, who are yet to appear, but they are coming up the steps out of the tunnel and onto the pitch behind our French referee now, Francois Letexier. And don't think there'll be many changes made by Carlo Ancelotti either. So that will be Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Militao, Alaba and Camavinga the defence, Kroos, Valverde and Modric the midfield, Rodrigo on the right, Benzema the goal scorer and Vinicius Junior on the left. Real Madrid leading by 1-0. One of the backroom staff of Frank Lampard is just having a word with Thiago Silva down below. But Chelsea's barren spell in front of goal continues, and they need to find some sort of a focal point up front if they're going to try and break this goal drought.
Yeah, and I mentioned that the start to the first half was really positive, and then I think they lacked they faded a little bit, lacked that belief to hold on to the ball. But Madrid pressed them very well, but they couldn't get up the pitch. So interesting to see how the start of the second half pans out. Madrid won't change the way they play. It's up to Chelsea to carry more of a threat, and as I said before the game, they have to be ruthless. They weren't early on. They need to be in this second half if they do create an opportunity or two.
5.5 hours now since they last scored for Chelsea, who in their royal blue shirts and shorts are playing from left to right as we look against Real Madrid, who are all in white, as Real Madrid have a throw over on that far side. There are 3 or 4 white flags flying in the bottom tier behind Kepa's goal away towards our left-hand side. There are tarpaulin sheets stretched over a lot of the seats in that section due to the building work that is still going on for the renovation work here at the Bernabeu. But in this wedding cake of a stadium, it is always impressive, and they come here expecting to see Real Madrid continue their fine tradition in Europe's elite competition.
I've got to say, a terrible touch from Raheem Sterling. Chelsea had a throw-in. There's a careless backheel, and Madrid were on the attack.
Well, Sterling now benefits from a touch from Valverde that went away from him, and now he turns and stops, waits for some support, arrives in the shape of Fernandes. Kovacic out to Chilwell, far side the left for Chelsea, just shy of the corner of the penalty area on that left-hand side. Kovacic and Chilwell, once again though, they're being forced back. What was a promising position.
Yeah, it was, but the issue they have is Madrid are streetwise. They're saying, well, you have the ball in the wide areas. Do you know what? You get a cross in, you don't have that physical presence with Sterling and Felix. You know, our centre-halves are going to deal with that.
Chilwell in field, Kovacic hits it quite hard into the feet of Kante, lays it off to Fernandes, shifts it then out towards the left. Chilwell and Kovacic, the ball from Kovacic to Chilwell did him no favours. He had to slide to keep it in play, but by doing so, they'd lost it. Now they've won it back inside the penalty area. Felix for Chelsea, pulls it back. Kante to Fernandes. João Felix with a shot, and it was off his right foot, and it was around head height, and it was easily dealt with by Courtois.
Yeah, but you know, it's a good idea from Felix. As the ball's fizzed into him inside the box, 14-15 yards out, left-hand side of the box, and gets his head up, little shift of the ball with the sole of his boot, tries to find that far top corner. They have to take something very special to beat Courtois.
Are you expecting to see Havertz at some stage for Chelsea tonight?
I think so. I don't think they've carried a big enough threat up top. Sterling and Felix. No, I think Mudryk is a really interesting one. Hasn't been brilliant in a Chelsea jersey, but he is so quick, super quick climbing.
Well, now it's Rodrigo looking to utilise his pace in a foot chase with Koulibaly, but Koulibaly did well. Got a header on it and then saw the ball back towards Kepa, all in green away towards our left-hand side, because the ball was just hit early downfield and looking for that run of Rodrigo coming in off that right touchline on that far side. As the European champions, a 14th European crown when they beat Liverpool in last year's final, after what had been a remarkable run in dramatic contests against Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea of course, and Manchester City in the semi-finals. Reece James forward, searching diagonal ball, finds him. Reece James up against Camavinga. Camavinga gets a foot into the challenge, comes out to Enzo Fernandez, who shoots from a long way out, and it was a high and wayward shot that goes out for a goal kick.
Never balance there, Fernandez. I mean, that would have been a miracle goal. Saw him score a screamer in Qatar, didn't we, at the World Cup? The other side of the box, bending it into the far top corner, but it was hopeful.
Chelsea still trailing by just a slender deficit. It would be enough to keep them in the tie ahead of next week's return leg. That surely went out of play by Vinicius Junior. Frank Lampard complains as he runs forward on the left-hand side away from Reece James into the penalty area with a pullback. This is Benzema inside the D. Modric for the curler! Over the top, that was mightily close. Frank Lampard is livid in the build-up to that because he thought that Vinicius Junior had run the ball out of play. But the assistant referee let play continue, and Modric can't have been, that must have been centimetres.
Millimetres, I think, Ian. I mean, we are right behind this. What a run from Vinicius Junior. Pops the ball back to Benzema on the edge of the D. who reverses the ball to Modric, left-hand side of the box, struts onto it with that right foot of his. I thought it was in, but it is so close. Really goes into the far top corner, but just over the bar.
He was leaning back as he hit it off his right foot, looking for his 7th goal of the season. 39 appearances, throw in the 7 that he made for Croatia at the World Cup when they finished 3rd. And he is an evergreen 37-year-old.
Are you suggesting that was the wrong technique?
I'm not suggesting anything. Certainly nothing about the technique of an elegant player like Modric. As
you said he was leaning back.
He was leaning back a little bit to open up his body to hit it right-footed. You knew what I was saying.
Yeah, I know what you were saying. There's Kante bringing little Luka Modric down. It's been a good battle, that, hasn't it? It really has been. Modric, such an important player.
Camavinga floats the ball in towards Benzema. Oh, almost an own goal by Thiago Silva. Benzema tried to hit it first time, floated just in towards, 7 yards out from goal. He tried to swivel and hit it first time left foot. It didn't drop initially. Thought he might have had a second chance, and then Thiago Silva running back, went to take it off his toes and almost ran the ball past his own goalkeeper, Kepa, who now has this back pass to clear away flat downfield. Chelsea still trail by a 1-0, 7 minutes into the second half. Koulibaly heads it away. Kante, surprised if he lasts the full 90 minutes given his long layoff, only recently coming back into the Chelsea side. Real Madrid with Militao go all the way back to Courtois. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and Chelsea with that same setup. 3 centre-halves, 2 wing-backs, narrow 3 in midfield and 2 small forwards, and Madrid happy to press Chelsea high. Kepa just clipping the ball forward in the direction of Felix, and guess what? Alaba dominates. And Madrid have the ball back.
Koulibaly's gone down.
Yeah, and I wonder whether that was from that earlier sprint back. You know, the big clearance from Courtois went over his head, and he beat Rodrigo. Rodrigo had a yard or 2 on him, and he steamed back and made a really important interception. Just watching that again, actually. Rodrigo gets the run on him, but great pace to get back, but he's gone down. This is a concern for Frank Lampard.
Well, Cucurella is already stripped and ready for action. The Spanish left back. Koulibaly doesn't look like he's in any position as he's sat in a rather forlorn figure, sat down on the turf at the moment. A couple of Chelsea players looking to console him, but I don't think Frank Lampard's going to risk it, and Koulibaly is unable to continue. So Cucurella is going to come on, head bowed. Koulibaly is going to trudge off, and Chelsea are forced into a change.
A straight swap, won't it? Cucurella, versatile. Just slot in on that left-hand side.
So 9 minutes into the second half, Koulibaly comes off. Cucurella will replace him. And Chelsea still trailing by a 1-0. In the other Champions League quarter-final, it's Milan 1, Napoli 0. Just in case you missed it in the first half, the draw for the World Snooker Championship, which gets underway at the Crucible Theatre this weekend, will be made tomorrow in 5 Live Breakfast with Rick Edwards and Ellie Oldroyd. Sean Murphy, the former world champion, is a guest. Players back underway, and Cucurella just slots in to that 3-man defence. Thiago Silva, of course, in the central figure, and Wesley Fofana to the right, and the floppy head Cucurella is straight into the action to head the ball forward towards Chilwell.
I'd love to know what Rick Edwards knows about snooker.
He's suggesting he might be snookered about snooker. Ball spread out towards Reece James. Infield to Kante. Enzo Fernandez. Cucurella joins the attack. Chilwell stays wide on that left-hand side. Go through the middle at the minute with Fernandez and Kovacic. Felix, he had Militao right tight behind him. As Modric loses out in the sliding challenge to Kante, and Chelsea win it back. James in field, Felix able to turn, but runs into trouble in the shape of Alaba this time, and is certainly not getting past Alaba or Militao. Valverde now invites Camavinga to make a run forward from his left-back role, and Camavinga on the stretch gets a block challenge in, and out of play it goes for a throw to Chelsea.
Great pace from Fofana there, sprinting back, getting the run on Camavinga, but Chelsea too lightweight up top. Felix and Sterling have offered very little in this second half. I think Frank Lampard needs to make a change. As soon as Madrid are allowed to get bodies back, Chelsea do not look capable of playing through them. If they're going to get back in, there's going to have to be a really quick counter-attack.
It's a recurring problem for Chelsea, their inability to score goals, as Raheem Sterling runs forward 25 yards out, then
there.
He just stops.
And it goes back, and Madrid get bodies back behind the ball, just lacking that confidence.
No cutting edge whatsoever from Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez with just catching Kroos. Referee just lets him off with a warning. He is one of those players on a yellow card. But Chelsea have failed to find the net in 13 of their last 22 matches.
Where have the big chances come from tonight? The early one, counter-attack. The second one, that was Felix going through, and then the second one, Reece James.
Yeah.
That was a counter-attack, the cross in. Sterling got across Militao, didn't get a touch on the ball, should have done. Militao did. That's when Chelsea have looked dangerous. But when they actually are in comfortable possession of the ball, and Madrid get bodies back, they do not look capable of playing through Madrid. It's take a moment of individual brilliance. A wonderful pass, but Chelsea have lacked that cutting edge.
They've just given the ball away, as stepping forward was Alaba. Infield now to Rodrigo. Rodrigo looked towards Benzema, but Chelsea will bring it away through Cucurella. Forward ball, João Felix, Raheem Sterling out wide, far side the left. Felix finds him, Sterling now cutting inside, and then again no threat whatsoever, easily marshalled back to Courtois. They just don't look like scoring at the moment, Chelsea.
No, they don't, but Carvajal did well to get back and double up with Militao, but I've got to say, Militao, I think he's a top defender, has that real pace, he wants to defend, gets his body in between the ball and Raheem Sterling. His trouble.
Ball scoop forward, Rodrigo is in, Rodrigo goes down. Was that the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity? It is red, and Chelsea are down to 10 men. Rodrigo was played forward, and Ben Chilwell has been sent off, and Chelsea's problems increase. Chilwell dismissed. Ball just over the top by Kroos. Pace of Rodrigo, an outstretched arm by Chilwell, edge of the area. And the referee, without any hesitation, shows red. And Chelsea are down to 10.
As soon as there's contact, I mean, he does pull his arm. Chilwell does pull Rodrigo's arm. He's running at such great pace, he goes down, but I think he needs an invitation to go down. Hits the deck, and the red card is the right call. I've got to say, I think Cucurella is so poor. Chilwell trying to get back and recover. He could maybe have been a little bit narrower. Where's the danger in that situation? And Rodrigo comes towards the ball and then spins him behind, and Cucurella shouldn't fall for that. You know what's going to happen. Chelsea 10 men, bang in trouble now. What a chance this is for Madrid from the free kick.
Well, the free kick is just outside the penalty area. It's right of centre. This is going to be a long half an hour now for Chelsea. Trailing by a goal to nil and down to 10. Benzema is there. Rodrigo is also... It's Alaba, in fact, who's eyeing this one up. Alaba off that left foot. Alaba with a free kick, hits it low. Deliberately so as well, placed with power, but Kepa makes the save, well positioned, 1-0 Real Madrid.
Yeah, well, he actually is on the right-hand side of the box, left-footed. And Chelsea have the wall. The draft excluder, Cucurella lying down behind the wall, but Alaba goes around the wall to Kepa's side, and it's a comfortable save. Kepa shouldn't be beaten on that side. I've got to just go back to Cucurella's defending there. I think it's really poor. Chilwell maybe could spot the danger earlier, but Cucurella and Cloud Cuckoo land there. And Chelsea, I mean, what must Frank Lampard be thinking?
Well, they're going to need more than a draft excluder, Chelsea. They might need to barricade that goal of Kepa for the next 29 minutes that remain, because Real Madrid will look to try and use the extra man to increase their lead to take to Stamford Bridge for next week's return on Tuesday. Ziyech is going to be coming on for Chelsea. In fact, not Ziyech, it's going to be Havertz. So Havertz is going to be coming on for Chelsea, as Camavinga into the challenge with Reece James. Out of play it goes for a goal kick.
Chelsea now just seeing whether they're changed shape, but looks like they've gone to a back four, and Sterling hugging that left-hand side now, where he started as a central striker. Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Kante will play narrow off that right with Felix as a lone striker, but Havertz stripped to come on.
Felix is, in fact, yeah, it is going to be the Chalobah as well is going to be coming on too. So a double change. There's been a lot of activity down below. At one stage that Ziyech was coming on, and then it's going to be Chalobah and Havertz. So Frank Lampard having to reorganise as Reece James. No foul.
It wasn't a foul. Vinicius Junior simulation once again.
Here is Wesley Fofana. Camavinga with a sliding challenge. Kroos over the halfway line to Modric. Real Madrid looking to try and step it up. Modric with the outside of the right boot, sends over the cross, blocked and cleared. Kante. He turns back to Reece James, plays the ball inside to Wesley Fofana. They can move the ball quickly enough. To Raheem Sterling, but the pace again is a rather slow one, and Raheem Sterling's almost at a walking pace there for Chelsea, as Enzo Fernandez almost miskicks the ball in the path of Kovacic.
Well, Frank was big on belief. You know, we have to have belief, he said before this game. The longer this game has gone on, that belief seems to be fading.
He was also asked about leaders as well, and he says that leaders, you have to be a leader in action, you have to show why. Some may be a little perplexed as to how Chelsea, with these elite footballers, such a drop-off from last season. I mean, their away form is absolutely atrocious, as Reece James goes in too early on Vinicius Junior, and Vinicius Junior now on this left-hand side, leaves the ball here for Camavinga! First time shot, screwed off target, goal kick. Real Madrid still lead by a goal to nil.
And I've got to say, Fofana does brilliantly, because initially Reece James, he slips, Vinicius Junior drives on that left-hand side of the box, Fofana locks onto him, drives him away from goal, clever little back heel.
So,
and yeah, the shot high and wide from Camavinga, wild effort.
Raheem Sterling is coming off, and João Felix, I think, is going to be the other player coming off. So Havertz for Raheem Sterling, and then a defensive change with Trevor Chalobah replacing João Felix. So let's see where he goes.
Go to a three again, won't they?
So he goes to the left of the three, yeah. And Cucurella then moves into the left wing-back role.
Wing-back role. A five, and I hope they'll still play with that narrow three, try and match up Madrid in the centre of the park.
That's the voice of Chris Sutton on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Havertz, use of a hand, free kick to Real Madrid from his first touch.
And Havertz is just going to have to come on and try and stretch that Madrid back line. There's space in behind. What he needs to do is make sure that he's a foil, can hold the ball in and bring his teammates into play.
Real Madrid, in the circumstances now, Frank Lampard would snap your hand off for this scoreline as we approach the midway point of the second half in a couple of minutes, as his side trail by 1-0. Camavinga, bearing in mind that last season in the quarter-final, Benzema hat-trick at Stamford Bridge, Real Madrid won by 3-1. Chelsea, though, in the dramatic second leg, after extra time, won the actual game by 3-2, but then went out. They've got to try and keep it alive for the return for West London on Tuesday evening, a game, incidentally, you will be able to hear on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've got the Europa League quarter-final tomorrow. Last night, of course, we brought you Manchester City against Bayern. We're back in the Northwest at Old Trafford, Manchester United against Sevilla. Peter Schmeichel, part of the commentary team, build up from 7, 8 o'clock kickoff at Old Trafford for Manchester United against Sevilla in the Europa League. 66 minutes played. Real Madrid lead by 1-0 here in the Bernabeu. We're live in Madrid on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Modric running in field. Kroos tried to guide it on its way to Camavinga, but he was closed down by N'Golo Kante. Retrieved by Camavinga at left back. Just touches the ball forward, and it's with Rodrigo. Vinicius Junior drops off, back towards Kroos, midway through the Chelsea half. Camavinga, unchallenged, can run forward on this near side. The left, all white, playing from right to left as we look. Alaba, every outfield player is in the half away towards our left-hand side. Modric forward of the centre circle. Along the ground, reaches Carvajal, lays it off. Militao waits. Chelsea just dropping off now. The vocal support from the Chelsea fans to try and keep them going. Camavinga. They're biding their time at the moment, are Real Madrid. Camavinga, Valverde. Central area, runs forward. Militao hits in the cross, headed away by Chalobah. Back out to Militao. Carvajal on the right-hand side, pursued by Cucurella. They play the ball behind Cucurella. Infield now towards Modric. He looked towards Carvajal. They can commit the extra man forward, giving in mind that Chilwell has been sent off for Chelsea. Chelsea can't get out of their own half. They've lost the ball, and Benzema looked for the return then off Vinicius Junior. Chelsea, though, break it up now with N'Golo Kante out towards Cucurella. Chris Sutton, it's vital that Chelsea have a passage of play as they lose the ball once again with Kovacic and Modric now. And this is an opportunity for Rodrigo. Couldn't get it under control in his feet, and Kepa makes the save.
Kepa does well there, really off his line quickly, but do you know what, when Chelsea got hold of the ball there, as Kante gets on the ball, he looks up, he needs Havertz to make a definitive movement and show whether it's to feet or hit the space in behind. He did neither, and this is going to be a massive problem for Chelsea, who do win a free kick. But as you said, Frank would take 1-0 right now, wouldn't he? He'd bite an arm off for 1-0, take that back to the bridge.
Well, Real Madrid are going to be making another change. I can see that there is activity down below. The 10 men of Chelsea in no real hurry to take this free kick. And it's going to be Marco Asensio who's going to be coming on, an attacking player, Spanish international, as N'Golo Kante runs forward right-hand side. Real Madrid clear. Reece James infield to Fernandes. There was a foul there from Vinicius Junior, and that will be a free kick that is taken quickly. In fact, it's going to be a double change for Real Madrid down below. Reece James, meanwhile, right-hand side. Havertz wins a corner out of nothing, really. Right-hand side of the penalty area. There weren't many to cross into the penalty box, but he found an outstretched leg of Alaba.
Yes, there's a chance for Chelsea. I wondered why they took the free kick short initially. I thought an opportunity to get Silva forward and Chalobah and put a ball in the box, put Madrid under pressure.
Rudiger is the other player who's going to be coming on, the former Chelsea defender. So it's Rodrigo who goes off. Marco Asensio replaces him. And then we'll wait to see who Rudiger is going to be coming on for. And it's Camavinga who is going off. So Eduardo Camavinga replaced by Antonio Rudiger, who joined Real Madrid on a free from Chelsea after making just over 200 appearances in his 5 years at Stamford Bridge. Real Madrid lead by a goal to nil. Reece James with a corner kick. Headed out, didn't beat the first man. We've got 19 minutes remaining on BBC Radio 5 Live. Break on for Real Madrid. Carvajal to Vinicius. Cucurella drifts across to the right-hand side, gets the foot into the challenge. Out of play it goes, just over the halfway line for a throw to Real Madrid. So Rudiger drops in alongside Militao. Alaba at left back.
Yeah, so versatile, isn't he, Alaba? He's played virtually everywhere other than in goal in his career, and Asensio up on that right-hand side. Straight swap for Rodrigo.
He's approaching a century of caps for Austria, and you're right, certainly for Austria they've employed him in more or less every position. Wonderful left foot, wand of a left boot, as Modric, vastly experienced, to Militao. Carvajal playing quite high up on that far side, the right. Real Madrid still leading by goal to nil. Running in field now is Valverde. Back it goes to Carvajal, little flick forward, a drag of the right boot. Now Asensio gets a little touch as well, working in field to Kroos, bypasses Modric, Benzema to Modric, Alaba, Vinicius Junior queuing up at the moment in front of the royal blue shirts of Chelsea. Benzema out to Alaba. Alaba turns, Reece James is tracking him, forcing him away from goal now. Plays a little ball inside towards Kroos, and they drag Reece James out of position, and Vinicius Junior into the penalty area it goes, and Cucurella had to be alive. Tucks in the left wing back just in front of Asensio, and it goes out of play, and it's going to be a corner kick to Real Madrid, who still lead by a goal to nil with 17 minutes remaining.
Yeah, critical for Cucurella. Chilwell sending off. Read that situation very well.
Corner taken short, pull back, hit first time, and it's Asensio, the substitute, who makes an impact against the 10 men of Chelsea, and Frank Lampard's side have got it all to do now. A low, firm, left-footed shot, Kepa got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out, and Real Madrid lead Chelsea 2-0.
It's a hammer blow for Frank Lampard and Chelsea. I just wondered about the goalkeeper. It's a short corner. Modric into Kroos inside the box. Goes through Fofana's legs. Kepa gets down to his right-hand side. It's a good strike from Asensio. Left-footed, 18 yards out, just strolls onto it, but I think Kepa gets that much on it. He gets a hand to it. He's got to keep that out. That's not good goalkeeping. It really isn't. He might say he's unsighted, but that's a big goal now for Madrid. Chelsea can't score goals. They need to hang on in there and try and keep it at 2. It's Chelsea switching off from a short corner.
Well, we said we'd be surprised if N'Golo Kante lasted the full 90. And indeed, he's coming off. And this was a double change that was already in the offing before they fell 2-0 down. It's a double change that will see Mason Mount and Conor Gallagher coming on. Kante is one of the players who's going to be coming off. And Thiago Silva is also, I mean, bearing in mind, he's missed the last 7 with a knee injury. So Conor Gallagher and N'Golo Kante, who's had that lengthy layoff with a hamstring injury. Mason Mount, incidentally, hasn't played since the end of February, so he's getting a run out on his return. So fresh legs for Chelsea. However, now it has got to be damage limitation for the next 15 minutes that remain here. 2-0 down and down to 10 men.
Yeah, they are in big trouble. Chelsea are. That's an understatement. They'll hang on in there at 2-0. Maybe try and nick a goal.
Well, they've got an uphill task ahead of next Tuesday's return in West London. But if Real Madrid get another, then it was going to be almost impossible for Chelsea against this talented Real Madrid side. European champions were always favourites in this two-legged affair. Since the sending off of Chilwell, there has been an urgency from Real Madrid to increase that 1-0 lead, and that now has been achieved, but they'll want more goals. They'll want to finish it here and now. Vinicius Junior, toe-ended, touch behind.
Is it too simplistic to say if Courtois is in goal for Chelsea there? He saves that?
Well, given his wonderful work in the first half, maybe. Benzema pulls it back, Kroos steadies himself, shot was blocked by Kovacic.
This is just going to be an onslaught now, isn't it? Wave after wave after wave. Chelsea's issue is 10 men, they try and open up. Madrid will destroy them.
Here is Modric, pulling the strings, Alaba, low left-footed ball into the penalty area, cleared away by Chalobah for Chelsea, out of play it goes for a throw. They can't get out of their own half. There's no respite for Chelsea. As now it's with Valverde out towards Alaba. Again, chips the ball into the penalty area. Flick header away by Mason Mount on the edge of his own penalty area, but he just keeps on coming back. And now it's with Asensio, and a free kick has been given away over on that far side.
You'd be lucky not to see yellow there, Mason Mount.
Writhing around in agony is Carvajal. It was a little late.
I'll tell you what, he's high up on his shin there. Mason Mount. Yellow, let's have another look at that. It's a really poor challenge. He's so late. He doesn't catch him flush, but he catches him enough. Just seeing the corner again after Chelsea players have got the backs turned as Madrid work it well. Just seeing Kepa again. Oh dear, he's got to do much better there, Kepa. Kepa done a kipper. Doesn't get enough of a right hand on that. It's moments like that. You need your big players to stand up.
Free kick on the right, Kroos to take it, headed out by Enzo Fernandez, only as far as Carvajal, runs forward right corner of the penalty area, just over 10 minutes remain. Real Madrid lead by 2-0. Here is Asensio, who shoots again. He's got a shoot on side policy as Asensio, as Mason Mount has just barged over. I think it was Toni Kroos off the pitch. It was Asensio who dragged his shot wide. They lead still by 2-0. We've had a sending off here in the Bernabeu, and there's been a sending off now in San Siro. Mas Faruqi.
Yeah, for Napoli, Andre Zamboa-Guessa sent off 2 yellow cards in a matter of 4 minutes in the second half. Napoli down a goal and now down to 10 men. Milan 1, 10-man Napoli 0.
So Milan still leading. Inter, of course, beat Benfica 2-0 last night. Manchester City will play the winners of this, of course. They were 3-0 winners against Bayern Munich. Here is Asensio, edge of the area, to Modric, looking to turn. Feeds the ball to Alaba. Real Madrid are looking for more goals here. This is Vinicius Junior. Touches the ball into the path of Benzema. Gallagher runs it away out of his penalty area. Fernandez, now to Kovacic. There's no out ball, though, really. In the end, he has to go square towards Gallagher, and Havertz will do well to win a throw for Chelsea over the halfway line as they trail with 10 minutes remaining 2-0.
As soon as they lose the ball, though, Madrid, they're harrowing, they're chasing, putting the Chelsea players under pressure, trying to win the ball back as quickly as possible. They smell blood. They know this tie. They're 2 up, get another goal. It's essentially over.
So the former Fulham player Anguissa sent off for Napoli, still trailing by 1-0. Real Madrid hunting after the ball. Chelsea get it up towards Havertz. They appeal for handball, nothing given. Havertz though loses out to the sliding Rudiger in a typical combative challenge, as the Chelsea fans will have seen over the years. And Modric is leaving the field to a standing ovation to be replaced by Dani Ceballos. Such a gracious player, Modric, and gratefully appreciated by this sellout crowd here at the Bernabeu. What a servant he has been during his time. 476 appearances now and 37 goals since he moved from Tottenham 11 years ago for £33 million. 5 Champions League, 3 titles. He's won the lot. World Cup winner. Excellent player. Ceballos is on.
Well, you did say, didn't you, that he leant back a bit on that shot.
Whether he leant back or not, it wasn't that far away from adding to his tally this season. 2-0. Frank Lampard's only played here once before. It was a 2-0 defeat, and it's the same scoreline once again. Chilwell dismissed. He'll be banned, of course, for the return leg. Real Madrid will want more goals. Chelsea have just got a hanging in there with 8 minutes remaining. But it is just Real Madrid dominating these closing stages. Enzo Fernandez to Kovacic. Very, very difficult for Chelsea in the circumstances, Chris.
Yeah, trying to make passes. Brave on the ball there. Work it from the left-back position to that right-hand side. Reece James now. You're down to 10 men. You have to be brave on the ball. Take risks. Trust yourselves. This is a Chelsea team who are low on confidence.
Chalobah turns away from Valverde, back to Kepa. His clearance. It was Ceballos who tried to bring it under control. Couldn't hold on to the ball. Cucurella streaking forwards. He goes down under the challenge from Militao. And the referee here, I think he might well be booking Militao. And it's going to be a yellow card for the Brazilian international. And Chelsea get a free kick. And a moment, a rare moment since they've been down to 10 men, to get the ball into the Real Madrid half.
Can they make something of this? It's really clever play from Mason Mount. Halfway into the Madrid half. Out near that left-hand touchline, outside of the right foot. Plays it inside to Cucurella. He's marauding on, shoulder to shoulder with Militao, who brings him down. So Madrid make another sub.
Yeah, it's going to be Toni Kroos who's going to be coming off, and Tchouaméni, the French international, who's yet to score since his £68.3 million move from Monaco. Of course, he did score against England in that World Cup quarter-final in Qatar. So Kroos is off. Tchouaméni is on. Chelsea, meanwhile, have the free kick, 6 minutes remaining, headed easily away by Asensio. Fernandez's ball didn't pick out a royal blue shirt inside that penalty area, and he's been unable to keep the ball in play on that far side. It'll be a Real Madrid throw as they lead 2-0 with just over 5 minutes remaining.
Even that, Ian, they get an opportunity. They've barely been in Madrid's half in the second half. An opportunity, get the centre-halves up for Fana and Chalobah, put the ball in, let them attack it. Fernandez, that's Madrid first defender.
Mentioned tomorrow at Old Trafford for that Europa League quarter-final. This is the Champions League quarter-final. Vinicius Junior coming forward. The white shirts are flooding forward. Vinicius Junior might go it alone. He actually had 2 options to his left, but he went for a right-footed shot that was blocked and picked up by Kepa. Friday, by the way, at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon on 5 Live, we've got racing from Aintree. It's the Grand National Festival that starts tomorrow. That's at 3 o'clock. And of course, Saturday's 5 Live Sport with Mark comes live from Aintree on Grand National Day, where we'll also be based on Merseyside for our 3 o'clock commentary in the usual goal service. Everton against Fulham at 3, Manchester City, Leicester City at 5:30. Oh, the back pass to Kepa was a quick one. He had to be alert there, he was being quickly closed down by Benzema. And then on Sunday, 2 more commentaries in the Premier League for you. West Ham Arsenal at 2, Nottingham Forest Manchester United at 4:30. So a lot of live sport on BBC Radio 5 Live over the coming days. But here we are in Madrid, 4 minutes of normal time remain. Chelsea, after that sending off of Chilwell, 2-0 down, and that ball from Mason Mount towards Cucurella is too far ahead of him, and it drifts out of play for a Real Madrid throw. And it's only going to be 1 win in their last 13 away games since the end of October. It'll be 3 draws and 9 defeats for Chelsea on their travels since, as ball is carried forward, laid off then to Carvajal.
He's not happy, he's going to go in the book there, Carvajal.
He's just tossed Cucurella to the ground.
Yeah, that's all to do with the earlier challenge by Mason Mount. He was so angry about that. And Militao gave away the free kick a couple of minutes ago. Carvajal in the ref's face saying, what about the challenge from Mason Mount on me? And I tell you, he's lucky there, he kicks out. He's lucky not to receive more than a yellow there. The ball's away, Cucurella, and he volleys him in between the legs. It's a sore one for Cucurella. Doesn't make a meal of it, but he's lucky there, Carvajal.
So the yellow is shown to Carvajal. 3 minutes of normal time remaining. Kepa, right-footed, downfield. Header forward by Carvajal, who then throws himself into the challenge with Gallagher. Last touch off Carvajal, it will be a Chelsea throw, just trying to take the sting out of Real Madrid in the closing stages here. We'll have reaction in the 5 Live Football Daily podcast. That'll be available to download from the usual sources. Get the thoughts of Frank Lampard, and who knows, maybe even Carlo Ancelotti from the press conference here in the Bernabeu. Oh, that was Vinicius Junior running into Fernandes, almost poleaxed him. Free kick to Chelsea.
There's a challenge from Vinicius Junior. What it does allow Chelsea to do is get the centre halves forward and put a ball in. Can the delivery be on the money from Reece James?
Over 6 hours without a goal for Chelsea and counting. Reece James on this near side, the right, 6 yards in from the touchline, midway through the Real Madrid half. Hits it diagonal into the penalty area, headed out well by Real Madrid. Enzo Fernandez tries to play it off the body of Vinicius Junior and succeeds in getting a throw that Reece James is going to take. He goes down the line. Havertz plays it back to James, infield to Fernandez, works it back out to James, right-hand side, level the area, passes the ball to Enzo Fernandez, back into Reece James, but easily read by Alaba, just steps forward and breaks up the play for Real Madrid. Now Vinicius Junior looking to play the ball out towards Asensio, failed to get cut out by Chalobah. Cucurella holds up Asensio enough to get the Royal Blue shirts back for Chelsea inside the last 60 seconds here in the Bernabeu. Real Madrid lead by 2-0. Ceballos. Ball played in field now. Alaba. Vinicius Junior is ahead of him on this near side, the left. Ceballos takes over, coming onto the ball. Alaba provides the width, sent over a cross. Benzema had made a run towards the far post, gathered in by Kepa, and he holds onto the ball inside that penalty area. Question is now how much added on time there will be from the fourth official, Stephanie Frappart, down below. She's just putting up the board now, and we will find out for you in a second or two. Real Madrid, Carlo Ancelotti enjoying himself, the former Chelsea manager, a couple of touches there off those shiny black boots of his. I don't think that electronic board's working, you know. She's just gone and shown it to the crowd. If it is, it's only been shown one way. Didn't see how 5 minutes of added on time, which we're now into.
How do you know that if you didn't see it?
I've looked at the monitor. 5 more minutes for Chelsea to hang on to a scoreline that is a very disappointing one. But their task was made so much harder after the sending off of Chilwell.
But you'd say that if they concede again, the tie will be beyond them at Stamford Bridge. If they keep it at 2, there's still a glimmer.
Asensio, man over, and Carvajal far side the right. Carvajal plays it in, Chalobah keeps it away. Yeah, they do have a tall order, but they are still not out of it to come from 2-0 down. But they are up against a quality side in Real Madrid. The way that Real Madrid play, very hard to see them not scoring at Stamford Bridge next week. Alaba, meanwhile, is forward on this left-hand side. Alaba towards the byline with the cross. Kepa pushes it out to Benzema, who heads it over. What a chance that was for Real Madrid. And Benzema couldn't take advantage of it, and he knows it. 2-0 still to Real Madrid.
Well, I'm shocked Benzema hasn't scored that. It's really poor play from Conor Gallagher, who gets drawn towards the ball. Alaba makes a run in behind on that Madrid left-hand side, whips the ball around Fofana. Kepa flies out to his left and ends up just prodding the ball up in the air. Benzema 8 yards out, open goal on his heels. Maybe a bit of fatigue there, heads it over the bar. Huge opportunity to put this tie to bed, really. Not taken.
Pushed it away, presented it to Benzema, but Benzema couldn't profit. Rather surprisingly so. 2-0 then it still remains. Going to be 2 defeats to open up his second spell as the Chelsea head coach. Enzo Fernandez out to Cucurella, didn't again beat the first man, didn't get any elevation. Cucurella struck the heels of Carvajal, out it goes for a throw, and we're halfway through the 5 minutes of added on time here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. And Chelsea unable to arrest their slide this season. Cucurella finds Mason Mount. Mason Mount, good block coming in from Rudiger. And he's been saluted and patted on the back by his teammates because it was a sharp turn by Mason Mount. And it was a good goal-bound block by Rudiger.
Militao just misjudges the ball as it comes in off the left-hand side. Goes through to Mason Mount. He's on the corner of the 6-yard box, or takes a good first touch on the corner of the 6-yard box, left-footed, tries to find the far corner. Rudiger, full stretch, what a block. Brilliant defending. And the Madrid players celebrate like they would for a goal.
90 seconds remaining. Real Madrid, who've only won one of their previous 7 meetings against Chelsea, are going to get their first victory at the third attempt here at home against the London side. Thing is, can they get 3 goals? Vinicius Junior cutting inside, Benzema edge of the D, plays it out towards Carvajal. Carvajal steadies it, then sends over the cross. Wesley Fofana heads it away inside the penalty area, headed further away by Mason Mount. But the 9 outfield players are working so hard to keep Real Madrid at bay as the ball goes out for a Chelsea throw over on that far side. They're going to have to produce the perfect response next week at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea to turn this one around. Going to have to find their scoring boots too. Here is Reece James. Back to Wesley Fofana. Didn't do him any favours there. He had Benzema and Vinicius Junior like a rash all over him. Reece James does well to win a throw on the halfway line. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, it wasn't a good ball to Fofana. Chelsea just need to get out of here with a 2-goal deficit and hope they can turn in a huge performance at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday.
Real Madrid competing in the quarter-finals for the 38th time, more than any other side. And they've won this first leg in the last 8 of the Champions League by 2-0. Benzema got the first after 21 minutes. Ben Chilwell then sent off just before the hour for the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity for pulling back Rodrigo. And then within 15 minutes, Real Madrid made the extra man count. Asensio, the substitute, for the first time, left-footed shot from the edge of the area. And Chelsea, who had a couple of chances in the first half but were unable to take them, have seen their goal-scoring drought now extend beyond 6 hours. And they have it all to do for Tuesday's return. Real Madrid 2, Chelsea 0, here in the Bernabeu. Mark.
Thank you, Ian. They're still playing in the San Siro. 5 minutes of stoppage time there. They've played 3 minutes of it, and it is still Milan 1, 10 man Napoli 0. The biggest positive for Chelsea, and we'll properly look at it after 10 o'clock, Chris, but the biggest positive for Chelsea is that they're not out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what I feel for Frank Lampard? I'm sure he'll analyse the game and think we had the opportunities early on, didn't happen. Madrid dominant later on in the first half, but the sending off, and it was a sending off, and it is such poor defending. I mean, just, I'd love to see it again after the game, but Cucurella, who of course came on for Koulibaly, that was unfortunate for Frank Lampard. I think Koulibaly may have, injured his hamstring, but the run from Rodrigo in towards the ball, you know what he's setting Cucurella up for. He falls for it, and then Chilwell, maybe could have been a bit narrower and spotted the danger earlier. He didn't. Free kick was rightly awarded, and the red card absolutely spot on. And then, look, Chelsea were struggling with 11 men, in the second half to get up the pitch, and it was always going to be a thankless task with 10. But do you know what? They showed a bit of resilience, albeit, the second goal, I've got to say, Kepa has to do much better in my view. I think it's a poor error at this level. But then they hung on in there, and they have a chance at the bridge. But I think Ian said in commentary, you can't not see this Madrid team scoring.
Do you take into account at all that it went through Fofana's legs?
A little bit, but look, I think at this level, your goalkeeper has to save that. I think he would view it as he's got enough of a hand on that ball to keep it out. And as I said in commentary, I think if Courtois is in the Chelsea goal, which he once upon a time was, he saves that. You think about the save Courtois made in the first half. Big save, big player, and that was a huge moment, because if Chelsea could have held out and ended up losing 1-0, you're not saying you'd half fancy them against this Madrid team, but it would have been a far easier task. 2 goals against this Madrid team, it's going to be very hard to keep them out with the attacking talent Madrid have.
It's difficult to see them not scoring, isn't it, at Stamford Bridge?
Absolutely, and then you add that to Chelsea being hopeless in front of goal, and they, it's always going to be the case when they went down to 10 men, but I thought that they looked really poor. I'm surprised Mudryk didn't get a run out, I suppose, with 10 men. I understand the getting Havertz on, but look, Chelsea are still in it by the skin of their teeth. I think there'll be massive disappointment from Frank Lampard, though, with after the start they had, the opportunities they had, not taking them, that they couldn't have got a better result. But in many ways they're lucky that Madrid didn't really put them to the sword.
Plenty more to discuss with Chris and Ian, and Mario Melchior will join us as well in the next half hour here on 5 Live Sport, watching some of the pictures from the San Siro. It's been like a